The village always looked safe when he walked through it. Children stopped running and watched him pass. Old men nodded with respect. Women whispered his name like it meant protection. He was not loud. He did not show anger. He did not boast. He simply existed, calm, strong, silent. People believed he could not break. He was known as the strongest man of his time. A samurai who never failed. A warrior who never stepped back. When trouble came, people looked at him. When fear entered the village, his presence made it leave. But no one asked how heavy that role was. Every morning before the sun rose, he trained alone. His movements were clean. His breathing was controlled. His face showed nothing. He struck the wooden post again and again, not to prove strength, but to keep something inside quiet. Because silence was easier than truth. The villagers saw his victories, not his nights. They saw his straight back, not his tired eyes. They saw the armor, not the man under it. Strength for him was not a choice. It was a rule. From a young age he was taught one lesson again and again. A strong man does not complain. A strong man does not rest. A strong man does not feel. So he learned to lock his feelings away. Each fear became a stone. Each loss became weight. He carried them all, believing this was honor. Years passed. Battles ended. His name grew. But inside him something grew too, something heavy and quiet. At night, when the world slept, he sat alone with his sword. He cleaned it slowly. The sound of cloth on metal was steady. Come, safe. The sword never judged him. It never asked how he was doing. Some nights his hands shook. Just a little. He noticed it. He hated it. He would tighten his grip until the shaking stopped. He would tell himself, I am strong. He believed strength meant control. And control meant silence. One evening an old teacher watched him train. The teacher had seen many warriors. Fast ones. Angry ones. Brave ones. Dead ones. He had learned something they had not. He noticed the way the samurai pushed past pain. The way he never paused. The way he never smiled anymore. The teacher spoke softly. You carry too much. The samurai did not stop training. I can carry it, he said. The teacher nodded, but his eyes were sad. Stone can carry weight too, he replied. Until it cracks. The samurai laughed politely. He bowed and walked away. He believed cracks only came from weakness. That night, sleep did not come easily. His mind replayed old moments. Faces he could not save. Words he never spoke. Goodbyes he avoided because strong men do not cry. He turned to his side and stared into the dark. The world expected him to be unbreakable. And he agreed with it. Because if he stopped being strong, who would he be? The next day, the village celebrated him. A family thanked him for protection. A young boy said he wanted to be just like him. The samurai smiled. He placed a hand on the boy's head. Be strong, he said. But his chest felt tight. Later, while walking alone, he dropped his sword. It was small. No one saw it. The blade hit the ground with a dull sound. He froze for a second. Just 1 second. Strong men do not drop their swords. He picked it up quickly and looked around. No one noticed. Still, his heart raced. Not from fear of danger, but fear of being seen as human. That night, the shaking returned. He pressed his hands together. He focused on breathing. He forced calm. He forced control. But control was slipping. The truth was simple but painful. He had never learned how to rest. He had never learned how to ask for help. He had never learned how to be weak, even for a moment. The strongest men are often the most alone. Because everyone leans on them. No one stands beside them. He thought strength meant standing tall no matter what. He did not know that standing without bending makes breaking easier. The teacher's words echoed again. Strength that never bends, shatters. The samurai stood by the river the next morning. The water moved freely around stones, not through them. It flowed without force. It never fought. For the first time he wondered something dangerous. What if strength was not what he believed? What if the thing that made him powerful was also the thing slowly destroying him? He pushed the thought away. Strong men do not question themselves. But once a thought enters, it does not leave quietly. Deep inside, a small crack had already formed. And this was only the beginning. The crack was small. So small that no one else could see it. But the samurai felt it with every step. After the morning by the river, he returned to his routine. Training. Duty. Silence. On the outside, nothing changed. On the inside, something felt different. Heavy in a new way. Like a weight that had shifted and now pressed on a soft place. People still depended on him. A farmer came with fear in his eyes. Bandits were seen near the hills. The samurai listened, nodded, and promised safety. A merchant asked for protection on the road. He agreed without pause. A family asked him to settle a dispute. He did it calmly. He never said no. Strong men do not refuse responsibility. Each request was small. But small stones also fill a bag. By midday his shoulders ached. Not from training. From carrying what was never his alone. He trained harder that evening. Faster strikes. Stronger swings. Longer hours. Sweat soaked his clothes. Pain screamed in his muscles. Pain was easy. Pain made sense. Pain followed rules. Feelings did not. When night came, he sat alone again. The room was quiet. Too quiet. He reached for his sword but stopped. For once he did not clean it. He simply stared at it. The blade reflected his face, calm, sharp, empty. He could not remember the last time he felt light. Once long ago he had laughed loudly. Once he had spoken freely. But strength had slowly taken those things away. Not all at once. Piece by piece. He lay down but sleep stayed away. His mind worked like a restless guard. Thoughts marched in lines. Old memories returned without warning. A battle he won but hated. A friend he lost and never spoke about. A choice he made that still followed him like a shadow. He turned his face to the wall. Strong men do not look back. The next day something small went wrong. During training with younger warriors he missed a step. Just a moment. His foot slid on the ground. He recovered fast. Too fast for anyone to comment. But he noticed. The younger men did not say anything, but they watched him more closely after that. Respect mixed with confusion. He felt it. The crack widened. Later a friend spoke to him. "You look tired," the friend said lightly. "You should rest." The samurai smiled. "I am fine." The words came easy. They always did. The friend laughed. "You are always fine." That sentence followed him the whole day. Always fine. He realized something uncomfortable. No one asked him how he truly was. And he had trained everyone not to. Because strong men are not supposed to struggle. They are supposed to endure. That evening the teacher returned. The old man watched the samurai from a distance. He saw the way his breathing was shallow. He saw the tension in his jaw. He saw the weight behind the eyes. "You are carrying more than yesterday," the teacher said. The samurai did not answer. "You believe strength means holding everything alone," the teacher continued. "That belief has broken many men." "I am not broken," the samurai replied. The teacher nodded slowly. "Not yet." Those words landed harder than any blow. That night a message arrived. A short one. Simple words. Heavy meaning. Bad news from home. Nothing dramatic. No loud tragedy. Just loss. Quiet loss. The kind that hurts more because it comes softly. The samurai sat still after reading it. He folded the paper carefully and placed it beside him. No tears came. Strong men do not cry. But something inside him dropped. The next morning his movements were slower. His thoughts felt distant. The world seemed louder, brighter, sharper. While walking through the village he heard whispers. Not unkind. Just curious. Is he tired? He looks different. Even strong men age. Each word felt like a thin blade. He told himself it did not matter. He told himself to focus. To stay sharp. But control was no longer perfect. During training his grip failed for a second. Just 1 second. The sword slipped from his hand and hit the ground. This time people saw it. Silence spread. The samurai stood frozen. His heart beat hard. Not from fear of danger, but fear of judgment. He picked up the sword and bowed his head. "I slipped," he said calmly. Everyone nodded. They accepted it. They moved on. But he did not. Inside him something cracked wider. That night the pressure became too much. He sat alone breathing fast. His chest felt tight. His hands shook openly now. He tried to calm himself. He told himself the same old words. Be strong. Be silent. Be in control. They did not work. For the first time he felt tired of being strong. Not tired in the body. Tired in the soul. He realized something painful and true. Strength had given him respect. Strength had given him purpose. But strength had also taken his voice. He had never learned how to share his weight. Only how to carry it. The teacher's words returned again, louder now. Stone that never bends will break. The samurai stood and walked outside. The night air was cold. Clear. Honest. He looked up at the sky. For the first time in many years he allowed himself to ask a dangerous question. What if he could not do this alone anymore? The thought scared him more than any enemy. But once the thought was there, it stayed. The strongest men do not break first because they are weak. They break first because they carry too much, for too long, without rest, without release, without truth. And the samurai was reaching that edge. The breaking point was closer than he knew. The samurai woke before dawn, but he did not feel rested. His body had slept. His mind had not. The night left a heavy fog inside his head. His chest felt tight like a rope was pulled around it. He sat on the edge of his bed and waited for the feeling to pass. It did not. He stood anyway. Strong men always stand. Outside, the village slowly came to life. Fires burned. Voices rose. The world moved forward like nothing had changed. And maybe nothing had changed for them. But for him, everything felt slower. He washed his face with cold water. He looked at his reflection. The man staring back looked calm, but the eyes were different now. There was a tired depth in them. A quiet fear he had never allowed before. He turned away. Looking too long felt dangerous. Training usually cleared his mind. Today it did not. His strikes were sharp, but his focus drifted. Small thoughts cut through his attention like insects. Memories, questions, doubts. He shook his head and struck harder. Pain helped. Pain gave him something simple to fight. But even pain could not silence everything anymore. A young warrior approached him after training. "You missed the timing," the boy said carefully. "Just once." The samurai nodded. "I know." The boy hesitated. "Are you all right?" The samurai paused. The question was gentle. Honest. For a moment, words rose to his mouth. Real words. Heavy words. But they stopped. "I am fine," he said. The boy bowed and left. The samurai felt the familiar relief of control. And the familiar ache that followed it. He walked through the village alone. People still greeted him with respect. Some smiled. Some bowed deeper than before. Their faith in him was strong. Too strong. Because faith becomes weight when you are already carrying too much. As he walked, his thoughts grew louder. What if they see me fail? What if I am not enough anymore? What if strength leaves me? He had built his whole life on one thing. If that thing cracked, what remained? That afternoon he was called to settle a conflict. Two men argued loudly. Both demanded his judgment. He listened carefully, but his mind felt far away, like he was underwater. He made a fair decision. The men accepted it. But when he turned to leave, his vision blurred for a moment. The ground felt unstable. He caught himself against a wall. No one noticed, but fear rushed through him. This was not weakness of the body. He had felt pain before. He had fought through wounds. This was different. This was something slipping inside. That night, sleep refused him again. His breathing became shallow. His heart beat fast without reason. He sat up, holding his chest, waiting for calm. It did not come. He thought of the teacher. He thought of the river. He thought of all the times he had told others to be strong, without ever teaching them how. Tears pressed behind his eyes. He forced them back. Strong men do not cry. But his body did not agree. A single tear escaped. He froze. The tear landed on his hand. Warm. Real. He stared at it like it was a foreign thing. For years he had locked everything inside. And now, something was leaking out. His breathing slowed. Not because he controlled it, but because he stopped fighting it. The next day the cracks showed again. During practice he reacted a moment too late. A wooden strike hit his shoulder harder than expected. Pain shot through him. He stumbled back. The group went silent. He raised his hand. "I am fine," he said quickly. They nodded, but worry had entered their eyes. Later he overheard two men whispering. "He is still strong," one said. "Yes," the other replied, "but something feels off." The words followed him like shadows. That evening the teacher sat beside him without asking. They watched the sun fall. "You are tired of pretending," the teacher said. The samurai did not answer. "You believe silence protects you," the teacher continued. "But silence can also drown a man." Still the samurai said nothing. The teacher sighed. "The strongest walls fall from the inside." Those words cut deeper than any blade. The samurai clenched his fists. "I do not know how to stop," he said finally. The words surprised him. The teacher smiled gently. "That is the first honest thing you have said in a long time." They sat in silence. Not the heavy silence of hiding. A softer one. Later that night the samurai walked alone again. The moon was high. The path was quiet. His body felt tired. His mind felt exposed. The mask he wore every day felt heavy now. Too heavy. For the first time he did not want to be strong. He just wanted peace. He realized something painful and freeing at the same time. He was not afraid of failing. He was afraid of being seen as human. And that fear had kept him locked in his own strength. The cracks were no longer small. They were spreading. And the breaking point was no longer far away. In the distance, thunder rolled softly. The storm was coming. The storm came at night. Not the kind that breaks roofs or floods fields. This storm was quiet. Heavy. It moved inside the samurai, not around him. He sat awake, listening to his own breathing. Each breath felt too short. His chest felt tight, like something was pressing from the inside. He placed a hand over his heart. It was beating fast. Too fast. He told himself to calm down. He had done this before. Control the body. Control the mind. But control did not listen this time. His hands began to shake. Not small shakes. Real ones. His vision blurred. The room felt too close, like the walls were moving in. He stood up quickly. The floor shifted under his feet. He grabbed the wall to keep from falling. Fear rushed through him. Not fear of death. Fear of losing control. Strong men fear many things, but this fear is the deepest. The fear of being unable to hold themselves together. He closed his eyes. Breathe in. Breathe out. The words did nothing. His heart kept racing. His mind screamed questions he had no answers for. What is happening to me? Why can I not stop this? Am I breaking? The last thought hit him hard. Breaking. The word he had avoided his whole life. He slid down the wall and sat on the floor. His back pressed against the cold wood. His head dropped into his hands. For the first time he did not fight the feeling. Tears came. Not loud ones. Quiet ones. They fell slowly, like they had been waiting for years. His shoulders shook. His breathing cracked. His chest hurt. This was not weakness. This was release. But he did not know that yet. When the storm inside finally slowed, the room was silent. He sat there for a long time. Empty. Exhausted. Morning light slowly entered through the window. He had not slept. When he stood, his legs felt weak. Not injured, just tired. Very tired. He stepped outside. The village was waking up. Normally, people greeted him with smiles and bows. Today he avoided their eyes. Not because of shame. Because he had nothing left to hide behind. As he walked, dizziness returned. His vision darkened at the edges. He stopped and leaned forward. Then it happened. His knees gave out. The strongest man in the village fell. Gasps filled the air. People rushed toward him. Are you hurt? Call someone. Get water. Hands touched his shoulders. Voices overlapped. Fear filled the space around him. He wanted to stand. He tried. His body refused. That scared him more than the fall. He looked up and saw the teacher pushing through the crowd. The old man knelt beside him. He did not panic. He did not shout. He simply placed a hand on the samurai's back. Do not stand, the teacher said calmly. Not yet. The samurai's eyes filled again. I failed, he whispered. The teacher shook his head. No, he said. You finally stopped pretending. They helped him inside. The room felt different now. Smaller. Quieter. More honest. He sat on the floor, wrapped in a blanket. His hands rested in his lap. Still shaking, but less. People waited outside. Unsure. Worried. The teacher sat across from him. You have been strong for a long time, the teacher said. Too long. The samurai stared at the floor. I did everything right, he said. I carried everything. I never complained. The teacher nodded. And that is why you are here. The words hurt. But they were true. You believed strength meant holding pain inside, the teacher continued. But pain grows when it is hidden. The samurai swallowed hard. I do not know who I am without strength, he said. The teacher leaned forward. You are a man, he said softly. And men feel. Even the strongest ones. Silence filled the room. A different kind of silence. Not heavy. Not suffocating. A silence that allowed truth to exist. I am tired, the samurai said. The words felt dangerous. They also felt free. The teacher smiled. That sentence, he said, has saved more warriors than any sword. The samurai closed his eyes. For the first time in years he allowed himself to rest. Not sleep. Rest. Later that day the villagers spoke quietly among themselves. Some were confused. Some were afraid. Some felt closer to him than ever before. Because they saw something new. They saw the man behind the strength. The samurai stayed inside as the sun set. He felt lighter. Not because the weight was gone. But because he was no longer carrying it alone. The breaking point had come. But it did not end him. It opened him. And in that opening something new waited. Something ancient. Something the old warriors once knew. A secret not about fighting harder, but about surviving the weight of being strong. The room was quiet. Not the heavy quiet of fear. Not the sharp quiet of pain. This quiet felt calm. The samurai sat near the open window. Morning light touched his face. His body still felt tired, but his breathing was slow and steady. For the first time in many days his chest did not feel tight. The teacher sat beside him. "You have reached the place most strong men never reach," the teacher said. The samurai looked at him. "The place of failure?" he asked. The teacher smiled gently. "No. The place of truth." The samurai listened. Long ago, the teacher began, there were many great warriors. They trained their bodies until they were hard as steel. But steel, the teacher said, breaks when bent too far. The wisest samurai noticed this. So they learned another way. A way not written in books. A way not spoken loudly. A way passed quietly from master to student. The samurai's secret was simple. Strength must move. Pain must move. Fear must move. Burden must move. Anything locked inside for too long turns against the man who carries it. The old warriors understood this. They met in small circles. They spoke honestly. They admitted fear. They rested without shame. They cried when needed. Then they returned to battle stronger, not weaker. The samurai listened closely. "All my life," he said, "I believed strength meant silence." The teacher nodded. "And silence almost destroyed you." The samurai looked down at his hands. "They trusted me," he said. "Everyone leaned on me." "Yes," the teacher replied. "But even mountains rest on the earth." The words settled deep. That day the teacher asked him to do something harder than any battle. To speak. Not loudly. Not proudly. Just honestly. The samurai sat with the teacher and one trusted friend. No crowd. No judgment. Just presence. His voice shook. "I was afraid," he said. "Afraid of failing. Afraid of being seen as weak." The friend did not laugh. The friend did not turn away. He nodded. "I am afraid too," the friend said. The samurai felt something release inside his chest. A knot loosened. This was the secret. Not strength alone. Shared strength. Over the next days the samurai changed his rhythm. He still trained. He still protected the village. But he also rested. He allowed others to help. He listened more. He spoke when the weight felt heavy. The village noticed. Not weakness. Balance. The young warriors learned something new from him. Not just how to fight, but how to breathe. One evening the samurai returned to the river. The water flowed around stones, never breaking itself. He smiled. He finally understood. The strongest men break first not because they are weak. They break because they carry everything alone. And the men who last are not the ones who never fall, but the ones who allow themselves to bend, to speak, and to rise again. The samurai bowed to the water. His strength was still there. But now it was alive. Final message for the audience, narration close. True strength is not silence. True strength is not endless control. True strength is knowing when to hold and when to let go.